if we moved over a little bit? I think I like that better. Okay. Hello. I'm gonna be completely honest. I filmed this video a little while ago and I was just editing it, and I am talking so incredibly slow in the video that like I can't. So we're gonna refilm this. I was actually trying to talk slower in that video because I tend to talk really fast and then I like mumble a lot and people can't understand me. So I'm like, oh, I should talk slower. And then I'm like, it's too slow. It is too slow. Even like editing out like gaps, I couldn't. Anyway, I'm gonna do a what I read in 2022 book video, rating them, talking about them, all of that. I read 11 books in 2022, which is pretty good for me. I started reading books in February, so a book a month, basically. I didn't really read much before that. Like, I tried to read during quarantine, and I think I read one book throughout the entirety of quarantine. Like, I was not a reader, so the fact that I was able to do 11 books in a year is really good. I'm gonna try... spent my book and I'm really upset about it. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I'm gonna try and go in order, but I might mix them up a little bit. But the first book that I read in 2022 was I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver. I love this book. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. My ratings is like 5 out of 5 is like my favorite book, and I think the thing that stopped this from being one of my favorite books is the writing style was a little bit too immature for me, I would say. And the character is Amab, which just is, I don't know, I think the way for this to be my favorite book is for the character to be AFAB and for the writing to be a bit more mature. But I love this book. I definitely have reread it before. It is one of my favorite books. I would say it's definitely like for teens and for like younger people. Like if you're my age or older, then you might not like this book, I would assume. But yeah, it was really good. I really liked the mental illness representation. I liked the coming out parts for them. It's about a non-binary person. Non-binary person kind of coming to terms with their gender and coming out, and also I'm not going to be spoiling anything in this video. Like, if anything, it's just going to be like the description here, you know, but they get kicked out of their house after they come out and they have to live with their sister, and like it's a really good story. The ending is really good, and I really like all the side characters as well, and I like have definitely cried from this book. But yeah, really good, 4 to 5 stars. Definitely a comfort book, and I have reread it, so. I'm pretty sure was Not My Problem by Sierra Smith. This book, I think I gave 3 out of 5 stars. Oh, I rated all these on my Goodreads, so that's what I'm like, I think. On my Goodreads, I'm pretty sure I rated it 3 out of 5 stars. I really liked it. It was exactly what I had wanted. It's very like silly and like very immature and just kind of like a fun read. The only reason why I give it 3 out of 5 and not, wait. Okay. Later in the year, I read Perfect on Paper, and these two books are very, very similar, and I get them mixed up a lot, because it's kind of like a very similar sort of storyline. This one got 4 out of 5, this one got 3 out of 5. Really liked this one. It was exactly what I wanted. It was very silly. It was very just like fun read, nothing serious. The reason why this one got 3 out of 5 and not 4 out of 5 is because the main guy character, the like love interest, I don't like him. I think he's really annoying, and I wish that there was more character development for him. He's just kind of annoying. He's supposed to be that kind of like aloof, like, I don't know, like cool guy, but to me he just seems like kind of a dick, and I wish there was more character development for him. But this one's really good. Lesbian representation. This one was bisexual representation, which was good. Just not what I wanted for this one. But this one was really good. Definitely enjoyed it a lot. There was a couple of scenes where I was like, this is kind of spicy. Next book that I read, I'm pretty sure was Felix Ever After. I don't know how to say the last name. Kaysen Calendar. Is that it? I don't know. I gave it a 4 out of 5, I think. Maybe 3 out of, I think it was 4 out of 5. It was really good. It's great trans representation. I related to it a lot. It was really, really good. It was a very fun read. I enjoyed it a lot. Towards the end of the book, I was like, something feels kind of wrong. Like, I don't like this. Like, I'm not liking this as much as I thought I would anymore. And I realize it's because the main character, Felix, I don't think we would get along very well in real life. Like, nothing wrong with him, nothing wrong with me, but like I just don't think our personalities would mesh very well in real life. So that's just kind of a funny thing where I like realized that. But really, really good. As you can tell, I prefer like the hardbacks because I got a paperback book I think in like 2020, and I had spilled something on it and it kind of like fucked up the pages. So I definitely would recommend reading this. I would definitely recommend reading this one. Like, just check the genres, check the trigger warnings. If it sounds like something that, like, if it's a genre that you usually like, then I think this is a good one, because I think that does the job for what it's supposed to do, if that makes sense. Next book that I read, pretty sure was Solitaire by Alice Oseman. I do not currently have the book on me because I lent it to my bestie who still hasn't read it. 5 out of 5. I love that book. It is my favorite book. I have heard a lot of mixed reviews on it. I've heard a lot of people say that mental illness representation isn't very good. I have heard that, like, the storyline isn't very good. Like, I've heard a bunch of that. I completely disagree. Although I think with stuff like mental illnesses, when it's something that's, like, you're supposed to relate to it, I think that can be very just personal and different for every person. Like, yeah. But it's one of my favorite books, maybe my favorite book ever. 5 out of 5 stars. I love it. I loved it very much. I read it after I had watched Heartstopper, the show, and after I had read the Heartstopper comics on, like, the webtoons. Yeah. But I stopped right before the Paris trip, and then I read Solitaire. I wish that I had read all of Heartstopper before I started Solitaire, because I think that would have made the experience better. But even with that, I love Solitaire. And, like, I went back and reread it, and it looks like this, like, the pages. So yeah. And then I think after Solitaire, I had read Perfect on Paper by Sofia Gonzalez, and this one has 3 out of 5 stars because I don't like that guy. But he's just kind of, like, very bad-mannered and just kind of like selfish or self-centered. He seems very self-centered and, like, bad-mannered, and just kind of like he doesn't care about anyone else but himself. But just, like, a little bit. And it definitely gets better throughout the book, but I wish that I had gotten a lot better. So that's why I only gave it 3 out of 5 stars. And then I went on a whole freaking Alice Oseman rush through because I love Solitaire. And then I had read the rest of the webcomics online of Heartstopper. But I had also gotten Radio Silence by Alice Oseman, and I love this book. This one probably has 4 out of 5 stars, but here's the thing with this one, and I've seen people talk about it like this before too. You are supposed to reread this book. Like, this is one of those books that, like, you are supposed to reread because you will realize more stuff and you will like it more. 100%. I have reread it one time, I think. I don't know if I finished rereading it. No, yeah. I reread it one time and then started rereading it a third time, but haven't finished the third time. And the second time that I read it, I liked it more. I enjoyed it more. I don't know what it was, but I think you could just pick out more Easter eggs throughout the story. So I think that, like, after more time of me reading it, it might be a 5 out of 5. But I did rate it a 4 out of 5 on my Goodreads. Made me cry. It's so good. Aled, my heart. My heart. Then, I think then I started reading, the Falling in Love montage. It's on my other shelf right here. Don't like it. I haven't finished it. I gave up. I own it, and which was kind of sad because I really like this book a lot. And then on the back it's like, oh, like if you like this book, you should read this one. So I was like, okay, I'll take your word for it. I don't like it. I think that it's just kind of boring to me, and I know exactly what's gonna happen. So, and I don't like the main character. She's annoying to me. So didn't finish that. So then I kind of stopped reading for a little bit, but then my lovely girlfriend got me the comics for, actually it wasn't this one, I got this one on my own and read that, but for our 1-year anniversary. I read all these, plus this one, in 3 days. 5 out of 5 stars. Favorite one. 5 out of 5 stars. I love this. I love this so much. I think I rated the rest of them 4 out of 5, but going back and rating them again, I would probably rate this one 5 out of 5 as well. It's just so good, and it makes me cry. It makes me cry. I was reading this one a little bit today, and I was holding back tears because I was in the living room with my parents. The Super Bowl is today. I was like in the living room with my family reading this instead of watching football because we don't actually care about football, and I was holding back tears because like if they see me crying over this stupid like comic, they're gonna be like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, because it's so good. Read those, read this. This is 4 out of 5. First of all, I love that they have the little drawings in them, and then I also love the the chapter things too. That's so cute. That's so cute. So yeah, read those. Now we're getting to the end. Loveless by, I actually think I started this in October and finished it in January of this year. So I'm adding in the 2 that I have so far read this year. Loveless by Alice Oseman, 5 out of 5 stars. I fucking love this book. I think I might like Solitaire more. God, but it's so hard. It's so hard. I want to go through and like do what I did to Radio Silence and Solitaire. I love this book. I think that as somebody who is asexual, I rarely ever see asexual representation, and they did so freaking good with this book. I love this book so much. The slow burn in this book too. I fucking love slow burn. I will fall for that shit every time. And I actually ordered this winter that I haven't read yet because I'm scared. I'm scared to read that book, but it's on my shelf waiting for me. So, and then I was born for this. This I gave 4 to 5 stars. It's really good. I think that it is a bit more immature than the rest of their books. But it was interesting to see like the whole fangirl thing happen and the different like POVs. I would say it's like my least favorite book of theirs. I think just because like the plot is not as interesting to me as like Loveless or Radio Silence or whatever. And I wouldn't usually like if Alice Oseman didn't write this book, I probably never would have read it. So, but because I love their writing style, I chose to read it, and I was happy about it. It's a really good book. Although I understand why people don't talk about it as much as some of their others, because it's just not as good. But yeah, it's a pretty good book. That was what I read in 2022. Yeah, anyway, bye.